What does it take to build a successful, heart-centered pet sitting business? Lindsey, owner of Lindsey's Dog Walking, joins the show today to share her journey from the operating room to running a thriving pet care business in Pennsylvania. She dives into boundaries, certifications, pricing, and how staying small helps her stay connected. This is Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. Let's get started.
Sure. Thank you for having me, by the way. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I started my business in 2018. I'm married. I've been married for 18 years. I met my husband in band camp. Not that anybody cares, but he played the saxophone and I was in color guard. And we have 2 Basset Hounds and an English Bulldog. And yeah, that's us. So,
as a fellow band nerd, hello. I was drum major in marching band and played the clarinet. So that's great. So you started in 2018. What were you doing before then, and what was it like, coming into the pet industry?
So I had been working in the operating room as a surgical technologist for about 11 years, and I needed a change. I just couldn't do it anymore. It's a great job, and I absolutely loved the people I worked with. You can never find a better group of people. But after 11 years, I needed a change, and oddly enough, I ended up working in the death industry for about 2 years. I worked at a cemetery across the street from my house. I was what they call a memorial counselor, and I sold grave plots, headstones, caskets, urns, all that stuff. I did it for about 2 years, and I have to tell you, there's a lot of money to be made, and I did very, very well. But I came home feeling like a piece of garbage every day because you're taught to sell people during the worst times of their life. When people are upset, they're crying, they just lost a loved one. And I just always felt like I'm taking advantage of these people. I'm taking advantage of them, even though I do believe that prearranging your burial and your service and all that stuff, I think it's a good idea. But to take advantage of people during the worst day of their life, and I was doing that day after day because this was a commission only job, and I only got health insurance if I sold so much. So in order to survive, this is what I had to do, and I didn't feel good about myself anymore. So I quit. I didn't work for a couple of years. I did some babysitting for my friends. I did some odds and ends here and there, but a couple of years down the road, I saw an ad on Facebook for Rover. And I'm like, oh, you can make up to $1,000 a month. You walk dogs, you pet sit. Like, I can do this. I've had dogs my whole life. The famous, I've had dogs my whole life. I can do this, So I signed up for Rover. And sorry, I have to think. You have to cut this part out.
Okay, you're fine. Yeah.
I did work for Rover for a couple of months, but I quit and ended up creating my own business. After learning more about online apps and how they work, it's like the cemetery scenario all over again. I just didn't feel good about working for Rover. And that's how I created Lindsey's Dog Walking.
That's interesting that you bring up the not wanting, like, how do you feel like that shapes how you treat your clients? Because, you talk about how the working in the cemetery and that industry of, you didn't want to take advantage of people. And then the working with Rover and feeling like you didn't want to take advantage of people and not liking this. How does that shape what you do now in your business?
So I am very passionate about what I do, and I'm always trying to educate people how to make good decisions when they're hiring somebody to watch their pets. And I might be a little obnoxious about it. I'm sure I'm annoying to some people, but I believe this with all my heart, that you should hire somebody that, gets ongoing or continuing education, somebody who is fully insured, somebody that has a good, dependable, reliable staff, especially because there's backup. There's a backup plan. We can handle emergencies. Like, I believe in all this. I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of people. Even though there are people that think that, because my prices may seem high to them. So
yeah, when you believe in the model so much, it's easy to talk about it. And you're right. I struggle with this too when I'm talking to people on the phone or I'm in the meet and greet, and I feel like I'm starting to like sell, and it gets into a heavy pitch, because it's like, well, yes, I am trying to tell you to use me, but the only reason I'm doing that is because I truly believe that we are the best. That's your best option. And I know you're going to pay me money, and I know I am more costly, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get any better than we are. And that is a difficult balance to walk as a business owner in what we do, and especially how the community may view us, especially in relation to like what they're used to. I don't know what it's like in your area, Lindsey, but for us, it's still very, very heavy, non-professional, teens or people, hey, I'll pick that up after work, that's totally fine, I'll take care of it. And so that's kind of the norm. And then here we come in, and there's this weird perception of what we're trying to do and why we're here, and trying to overcome that with the client. Like, really, the education of clients is still one of the biggest gaps that we personally see in what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And like you said, it almost seems like we're trying to sell people, but we're not. We just want people to make good decisions, and we know what we bring to the table. And we're not talking about a person working a cash register. We're talking about you're giving your keys to your home, and you're putting your pets' lives in someone's hands. The price should not be the first thing you think about. It should be qualifications.
Right. Well, I know you have a lot of qualifications. You're fear-free. You've gone through Karen Pryor. You're a certified professional pet sitter. You've done all of these things. I mean, why did you find that important to do?
Because, like I said, families are putting their trust in us, and in return, I want to do the best that I can. And whatever information or webinars or whatever I can take in, I'm going to do it, because I want to provide them with the best care possible, just as I would want someone to do for me and my dogs, because I don't have children and my dogs are my life. And that's the type of person I would want taking care of my dogs. So I'm going to try to do it all. It's hard because there's no pet sitter academy. There's no pet sitter college. Like, you just have to go out and find it on your own. I didn't know about PSI or NAPS or Fear Free or any of those associations when I first started. It took time to learn all of this. I didn't have anybody to guide me or help me. So it took time, but
I think it's really telling that you went to the quality of care that you want to provide. And I see this conversation a lot in different Facebook groups of, hey, is it worth it to be fear-free certified? Or is it worth it to go through Karen Pryor training? Or is it worth it to be certified? And I think at the end, because many people will respond and say, no, my clients have never asked me. They don't care about my insurance. They don't care about this. And blah, blah, blah. Right. Like Megan and I have been doing this for 13 years. Nobody, I'm waiting for the day that somebody asks to see my insurance because I'll be so excited to whip it out of my pocket and, wave it in their face. Like, yes, here it is. But what it does, it gives us peace of mind and confidence in what we're doing and knowing, hey, I want the best. And if that's our drive, if that's our focus, that shapes all that we approach and all that we try and do and seek after for the benefit of our clients, and going, I don't know everything. I want to do the best and be the best. So where do I go for that? And what information can I get so that the next time I show up at my client's home to do the dog walk, I'm better than I was yesterday? Like, that should be something we should all be wanting to do and to be seeking after.
Sure. I agree. Yep.
So you started in 2018. What were some of the challenges that you faced over the years in running your business?
Well, just like I previously stated, trying to find education, where to get education, learn more. Because when I first started on Rover and I was thinking about creating my own business, I did reach out to another pet sitter in the area, and it did not go well. I don't know what had happened, but I was not treated well. We'll just say that. Mm-hmm. There's enough dogs for everyone. You know what I mean? There's enough pets, enough dogs in the area for everybody to have business and thrive and do well. But I never reached out again to anybody after that. Mm. But some of the challenges were trying to just find a friend or someone to talk to or someone to network with, because I was too scared after that to reach out to anyone. I still am. I'm kind of like a loner on my own. I try to just figure things out for myself. But I'd say creating the LLC, that was tough. My husband did it, actually, and I know it wasn't easy for him. Trying to find staff, trying to find employees, that's always a challenge. But I am so fortunate. I have 5 of the best people that have been with me practically since the beginning. And I just love them. Everybody loves them. I don't know how I got so fortunate to find them. Hmm. And then another challenge, and I don't mean to stir the pot by bringing this up, but I'm being honest. Yeah. I never knew the difference between positive reinforcement and balance training. So, growing up, we always had Great Danes, Mastiffs, big dogs, extra large breed dogs. And we would use choke chains, and, I didn't know anything about it. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but there's so many politics involved in training and what methods and what tools you use. And I didn't know any of this. And, yeah.
I remember the first time we were doing some networking and I reached out to a trainer and they asked, what kind of tools do you use? And I remember my blood went cold because I was like, oh no, this is going to make or break this relationship and how we're going to move forward. And, there is that aspect of sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. And that links back to that importance of continuing education and diving it into it for ourselves, and then bringing that language and that knowledge in for our clients, and just kind of understanding, like, look, people are going to have a lot of opinions about this. At least I can have my opinion based off of the work that I've done. And that ultimately, at the end of the day, is so important to know why we're doing things. I see people fall into that trap all the time. I know we've done it from time, certainly of, well, I don't know why, but I'm just going to do this because I think everybody else is doing it. I'm going to use these words. I don't really know what they mean, but I hear somebody else using it, so I'm going to use that. And really it's, do I fully understand what I'm doing. And that's kind of a next step in that evolution of running your business and knowing what's going on.
And again, where do you go to learn which way you want to do things? Or so if I were to give anybody advice, anybody starting out new, I would say do your own research. You know, try to learn as much as possible, and that's all you can do.
Yeah. Well, and give yourself grace along the way of, I may have to change my thought process around something. I may uncover some biases that I have or thought that, something was true. And I have to forgive myself sometimes and know, okay, I didn't know everything. And that process is hard too, especially if you've thought something for years and years to then suddenly try and change. That's a really personal thing to work through. And it revolves everything around our ideas and concepts around running a business and what we do. A big one that I see a lot is hiring people. And so it sounds like you brought on people pretty early on after you started your business. Why was that?
I became so busy. I couldn't handle the load by myself anymore. And it just really took off. I never thought it would be like this. I thought, I have a couple clients and I'll do a couple walks every week. And it just kept going and going and going. And we have about 300 clients now. But I have a really small service area. I'm not looking to be a millionaire. I'm not looking to be, anything other than just my little town of Lower Burl. Maybe we'll go out a couple miles, but I'm not looking to take over the whole, western side of Pennsylvania. So,
did you ever struggle with that, of wanting to grow more or do more? Or was that something that you realized of what you were comfortable with from the very beginning?
I thought about it a couple times, but again, I'm not looking to make buku bucks. I'm just looking to be able to pay my bills and have some extra money for myself. And my husband, he's the breadwinner here. So this is more of like a supplemental income for us. And the girls that work for me, they're all part-time. Some of them have other jobs, and it would be really hard to find staff, expand. It's just, I'm finding that people don't want to do overnight pet sitting. They just want to work like 10 to 2 and do dog walking, no weekends, and that's it. It's really hard. It's such a challenge. I've just given up. I've given up.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Dan from NYC Pooch has this to say.
Time to Pet has been a total game changer for us. It's helped us streamline many aspects of our operation, from scheduling and communication to billing and customer management. We actually tested other pet sitting softwares in the past, but these other solutions were clunky and riddled with problems. Everything in Time to Pet has been so well thought out. It's intuitive, feature-rich, and it's always improving.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. Well, and, offering overnights anyway is hard enough as it is to be, paying fair and scheduling appropriately and making sure that people have what they want and need. And that it's such an interesting service to try and offer, and to know that, yeah, not everybody wants to do that. Like I personally, Megan and I, when we started, first off, we did start on Rover too, right? So your story sounds very familiar. We were needing to make some extra money, and we went, oh, hey, let's do that. And that was 13 years ago. We got started on that, and we almost exclusively did overnights in people's homes as well. And there were times where we had a little apartment when we were living in Texas, and we would split up, and she would take the western side of the city. I took the eastern side of the city, and we didn't see each other for like weeks at a time sometimes because we were living in other people's homes. And I just think now of like how much I love my own bed, and how like you could not pay me enough to go live inside, even with cable and a jacuzzi. It's like, no, I'm good, right? Like, and so what I'm hearing you're talking about here, Lindsey, is like, yeah, like know the business you want to run and fit to that. And I absolutely love that, because too often we get caught up in that trap of more. Why? Well, it's because I was told to, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do this, and I got to do this, instead of being like content with what we're doing and just being honest with ourselves of, hey, any more than this is way more headache, or not what I want for my life to look like. I love the balance that I have. And that's something that we really have to take a very close look at ourselves to know, what do we want our business to be?
Mm-hmm. And when I first started, I was in that honeymoon stage where I just took every job possible. I was so excited, and I'm like, oh, this person called me, and I was doing it all. And that's why I brought more people on, because I was burning myself out. I'll never forget, I had a lady call and wanted me to take care of her cats. No problem. I love cats. No problem. I'll be there. And I was supposed to do a half-hour visit every day. And she had asked, well, we were inside for the meet and greet. And she said that she had plants outside. Could I water the plants when I was done taking care of the cats? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. No problem. Well, on my first visit, I actually went outside and looked at the plants, and here there was a whole garden. There were like 69. And it took me an hour and a half every visit. It was not a half hour. Yeah, learn my lesson with that one.
Yep. We were when we first started, Lindsey, we were charging, what was it? $35 a day for however many pets for however many visits you wanted. Right. And we had it was, again, 13 years ago. We had no idea. We just thought, hey, we'll make some extra money. This will be fine. And then we had a person who wanted us to come over 5 times a day, and they had 12 dogs. And I remember that going in my head going, well, that's ridiculous. And that was really the first little first little block that just fell out of my concept of what we were doing, and going, no, actually there is an upper limit to this. And then Megan and I really took a hard look at what we were offering, and now pulling that back. And just over time learning, like these gardens, we offer that. And hey, do you need us to water your plants? Absolutely. Now I've learned, show me that process, because we too have walked into, oh no, you have rows of corn, and you have, it's a half-acre plot of garden. Oh, this was, oops.
Oh man, live and learn.
You do. Yeah, well, and then, it's a discovery process. And that's where where we go, hey, my business is not going to look the same 10 years from now, because I'm going to learn a lot of lessons between now and then. Right. And that's just part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Now, with your team, how do you, you have high standards for yourself, and you seek after, certifications and trainings and things like that. How do you work to have that same level of consistency and professionalism for each of your staff members?
Well, another thing I do is I always ask for feedback from the clients, especially if it's a new client. I always contact them and say, how did you do? Can we change anything? I just want everyone to be happy. We do have several protocols in place for safety reasons. Like when we do come over for a meet and greet, and they have a fenced in yard, we check the fence for any holes or loose areas where the dogs may be able to escape. We have a very lengthy questionnaire that we go over with all the clients. Are they afraid of fireworks, thunder? allergies, stuff like that. We cover everything. We have a vet release form. I'm sure you know what that is. You know, I try to offer them, you know, if I find a webinar or some educational video, I'll send it to them. But ultimately, you know, I'm the captain of the ship, and I need to provide them with the education they need to. Although 2 of the girls that work for me, they came from a place where they worked in kennels. They worked in animal shelters, volunteered animal shelters. So they're knowledgeable too. We just all help each other.
Yeah. Well, what you start off with is talking about those. It's the standardized safety checks, the standardized questionnaires, the standardized forms. It's, you know, we spend a lot of our time trying to make everything as straightforward as possible so we can see all the information at once. Right? And that's, you know, what you're like, okay, let me take all of the unknowns and put it in a form, put it into a questionnaire, and then we can make that full assessment. And I know our questionnaires have certainly grown over the years.
Yeah.
You know, where you again, you learn and you go, ooh, okay, now I do have to ask about that again.
It comes with experience. And, you know, you learn to ask this question or inquire about this or sorry.
All right. Yeah, I know one for us was we'd be over there. They'd want pet sitting visits, you know, 3 or 4 times a day for their dog. Okay, cool, great. And I'd be sitting there. They answered all these questions and they filled out all the forms. And I talked to them on the phone and I'm in person with them and I'm talking about the dog and they're going away for 2 weeks. And okay, this is great. And then a cat runs through the living room. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you go, what about that? And the client goes, huh, oh yeah, I've got a cat. You're just like, oh my God.
Why does that happen all the time?
I know. So we've had to start asking, like, because we used to ask, are there any other animals that will need care while you're away? Okay, well, in their mind, they're going, okay, well, cat's got an automatic litter box, an automatic feeder, an automatic fountain. No, don't care for the cat. So I've had to start asking, is there anything else alive in your house? Right? Just like, is there anything else alive? And like Lindsey, people will go, oh yeah, I do have 2 bearded dragons downstairs that I guess you should probably look at. Okay. Yeah, I should probably know about the 2 bearded dragons downstairs. Yep, absolutely.
Oh my Lord. Just because they don't need a lot of attention, that doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be cared for. I mean, we still want to look in on them and see that they're okay. And, you know, they have water in their bowl and we need to know.
Right. Yeah. Well, now you've mentioned you have 300 or more clients. That's a lot of people to have in a database or to know. How do you, with a large client base like that, how do you still have maintain a personal touch and connection with each of them?
At first, I didn't want to get too personal with my clients. I just wanted to have like a business relationship. But that's not how it goes, because sometimes you see the clients and they want to talk and ask you about your life, and you know, you want to ask them about theirs, and you just become friends. I'll tell you, I try to always send a very detailed update to all the clients just to give them peace of mind that everything went well. I know sometimes I probably go overboard, and we always try to send really nice photos to our clients if we can get them. Like, the photos are our last thing to worry about, but we always try to send like nice photos. And we've gone into clients' homes where they've actually had them framed, they've put them on canvas, and that always makes me feel good to see that. But we've actually become really close with our clients, and every once in a while, like if somebody loses a dog or a pet, we'll send them a card or get them a gift. Or we actually just lost one of our longtime clients who's been with us since 2018. It was a golden retriever that we walked 3 times a week, and we made a succulent, what do you call it? Like a succulent garden, kind of like we
like
put a whole bunch of succulent.
Yeah, like a little plant basket thing for them. I know what you're talking about, but I do not know the name.
Yeah, but we all got together and made it and brought it over to them. And another example is I actually had Easter dinner with some of my clients who I've only known for years. They invited us over for Easter, and that's where we ate. Like, we become so close with these people, and we're in their homes every day.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, like, we don't go in someone's house and stare at the ceiling. Like, we notice things around the house. We have to look around, and, we can see when we can tell what's going on in their lives. So if I think something's going on, I'll make it a point to ask how they're doing, how they're feeling. Are they okay? I try to go above and beyond. And even like one of my employees, she was taking care of a dog for a lady that had surgery. She had hip surgery, so she was down for a while. It was over a holiday. I think it was Memorial Day. And my employee brought her a paper plate with dinner on it from her barbecue because she had to go over to walk the dog in the evening. So that lady didn't have any family or anything, and she brought her a plate of food. And my other girl, she brings her own dog's raincoats to the client's house, and we'll put them on those dogs if it's raining out. Like, just stuff like that. We just try to take such good care of them and treat them like they're our own. And you know what I mean? It's just, you don't want to get too personal and ask too many questions, but you want them to know that we care.
Mm. You mentioned we're not in their homes staring at their ceiling. I mean, we've learned that some of our clients were pregnant before the rest of their family because we saw the ultrasounds on the refrigerator, or we know where they're going for vacation, or we know that they're struggling with, whatever, because you see things. And, we teach, we talk about privacy and where we're going to, I'm not going to barge into rooms that are closed and all of those things, but we're there in people's homes. And as much as we want to say, no, this is a business transaction, and this, man, we get connected with people. And even the services that we offer. I mean, we actually just finished a series of visits where we were doing the evening walk for one of our clients who she was doing pet sitting visits and stuff, but she asked us if we could help her with her evening walks with her dogs while she recovered from hip surgery and hip replacement. Well, we've been walking this dog now every night for 2 months straight, so that she could get that. And I mean, man, you talk about always seeing the client, talking to them, seeing her progression, seeing how she's doing, her ups, her downs. And she just reached out to us this week and said, "Hey, I'm feeling better. You guys have helped me heal and take care of myself without feeling guilty about my dog. And I'm going to try to start taking over some of these walks." And we couldn't be happier to know that, oh my gosh, she's back and she's ready and she's happy and she's full health, and that we're cheering her on. Like, that's a personal touch. And did she pay us for all those walks? Absolutely. But she, that's the weird relationship that we find ourselves in and the kind of industry that we do. I
was going to say, it's almost like sometimes you feel bad for having to invoice them because you have a good time with them and you talk to them and they're like your friend, but you're like, okay, you have to pay now.
Yeah, I know. Really, it is due in 30 days, just so you know. Like, but I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Are you a passionate pet sitter or dedicated dog walker looking to take your career to the next level? Join the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters, the leading organization dedicated to elevating pet care. With industry resources, ongoing education, and a network of like-minded experts, NAPS inspires you to shine. Whether you're expanding your business or building new client relationships, their community is here to support you every step of the way. Visit petsitters.org today to learn more and join the movement. Take the leap and let your career flourish. NAPS, where you pet care meets excellence. And I know we have certainly tried and do have boundaries. You know, nobody has our personal phone number. We have a business line that people can call and everything like that. But when we and our team, when we can encourage or cheer on or be encouraged and be cheered on by our clients, like that really changes the game and the perspective as to why we're doing this, right? And what we get to do every day. Lindsey, how are you finding clients? How are you attracting clients or bringing them into your company these days?
Honestly, word of mouth helped me tremendously. It's always been word of mouth. I think Facebook too. I try to stay off Nextdoor, the Nextdoor app. The Nextdoor app, woo! Crazy place to be. I'll tell you a quick story about Instagram. I do have Instagram. I try not to go on it too often because it's just too much for me. I don't know. But I had somebody private message me inquiring about my services, and it was a celebrity. And I'm like, oh, this is like some stupid fake profile. And I just ignored them. I never wrote back. And they're like, hey, like, I need your help. I'm not talking like worldwide celebrity. I'm talking celebrity to Pittsburgh. And I kept ignoring them. I wouldn't write back because I'm like, this is not a real account. Well, they ended up calling me, and I was able to help them. And that's an experience I will never forget. And I really wish my dad was still alive, because if he knew that, I guess I really couldn't tell him because it's confidential, but he would love that whole situation, just knowing that I helped this family. But then this family went on to tell their friends about us. And then they started calling us. And, you know, I wish I would have asked if I could take a picture with them to share on my social media, because it would be so cool. Like, look who I got the pet sit for. But I didn't ask because I wanted to stay professional. And, you know, I didn't know if they would want to do something like that. But anyway, we live about 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh, and that's where this family's located. And I'm so excited because all these like well-known people are calling us now, and I can't take them on because I'm 45 minutes away. I did it one time because it was slow, and I will travel farther if it's slow. I've done it before. I mean, but I can't do it every day. And I can't do it all summer. So I ended up sending them to other pet sitters that I know out that way. And oh, darn, I wish I lived closer to Pittsburgh, but
yeah. There's those opportunities that come up, and you're like, oh, if I would have known or done or you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of things, and then to remember like, well, but that wasn't for me, or that wasn't the time, or I'll just, you know, move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but that was one of the highlights of my pet sitting career, being in the home and seeing somebody that you always see on TV in person, and it was just cool. I mean,
yeah,
who doesn't like stuff like that? So
yeah. If you could go back and talk to your younger self in 2018, 2017, you know, and go like, hey, one day, guess what you're going to do through pet sitting? It's like, no way.
Yeah. But I would say all in all, word of mouth and Facebook have helped me the most. Yeah. So it takes to build up a clientele. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and years, and unless you aggressively advertise, but I just haven't had to do that.
What's kept you going year after year? I mean, you're coming up into your 8th year of business. What's been the motivating and keep pushing you forward?
I just grown to love our clients, the people and their pets, and I want to go to work. I want to see them. I want to be with them. And I hardly ever wake up and say, oh, I have to go to work. Oh, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I do that on days like today when it's 90 degrees.
Right. Sure. That's fair. That's acceptable. You're allowed that, Lindsey.
But I like being able to make my own schedule. I like being around dogs. I like being around animals. I like being outside. I like the people I work with. No, I'm sorry. I love the people I work with. The only thing I don't like about my job, I will say, is when people come at me over the price, over my pricing. And I think they're reasonable. But if I have one complaint about this job, it's just because I charge $20 for 30 minutes, I don't take home $20. I probably take home like a tiny bit of that. There's so much overhead with this job. Like, I don't think people understand that. Can I just name a few? Like,
yeah,
insurance, workers' comp eats up a lot of money. Education, background checks, all kinds of stuff. So all in all, I'm not really making $20. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's like my complaint.
Yeah. Yep. And knowing the back end of it, when we get pushback on our prices, there are times where I'm like, I will show you how this breaks down. I have 13 spreadsheets that, for how I can show you exactly how everything lays out and how I don't see very much of this. And at the end of the day, the client doesn't care about our expenses. They just want to know, hey, can you do this? And is it at a price that I can afford? And there are times where, man, like, we still have to put food on our table. I still have to pay my employees. We still have to pay for the training and the meetings and the new leashes and all the gear and all the insurances and everything like that. We've got to pay for that. I can't go below a certain dollar amount without eating into somebody's pocket. And that is what, like, I know that there's just that bottom line. And as the industry continues to grow and evolve and change, I think there are some perceptions of people who know the value of what they're getting, but it's definitely precarious as wages go up, as everything gets more and more costly. We have to watch our prices so that we can still afford things and still make a living, while also being affordable for people. Because it's very easy to all of a sudden they say, nope, you know what? Every 30-minute visit is $63. That'll pay all my bills. Yeah, but nobody will book that in a lot of our service areas. And so we've got finding that balance and not feeling guilty whenever somebody pushes back on our prices. Man, yeah, that is not a fun part of talking to new clients or even existing ones if we have to raise prices.
I think I take it personally when people will tell me how ridiculous the prices are, and it hurts me. Like, I know it shouldn't hurt me. I don't know why I get so upset about it. What I ended up doing was I did add on a 15-minute visit, 15 for $15. And it really took off. Like, a whole bunch of people, I got like a bunch of people out of nowhere. And yeah. I wanted to make an affordable service for everyone, because I've heard it a million times. People will say, I want to use you, but I can't afford you. I can't. So here you go. 15 minutes. Dog out and we can clean a litter box and feed your cat in 15 minutes. Now, it doesn't leave us much time to play or, give them TLC, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, we went through that same process of like, can I make my existing services less expensive? Well, no, The only thing that we can really mess around with here is time. So can I make something with my time that still allows me to do what I consider a good job? Because we've had people who be like, oh, no, I only want you just come in, huck some food on the floor and then leave. Right. And I'll see you it's like, no, I don't do that. Like so there is a minimum amount of time I'm going to spend in your home. And so even then, like I can only go down so few, cut the time so much before I start cutting into a quality product or quality service, I should say, for them. And I start cutting into what we deem as below what we're willing to do. And even then, there's education to our clients about what we offer and why we often, talk about for us of like, yeah, we're the double, super extra deluxe, everything on it, bacon cheeseburger. And we get people who go, can I have a plain single patty hamburger with no salt? And we're like, no, that is not what we offer. We do not. And we have to be okay with that. But even though it still hurts because it feels like I'm saying no to you because of cost. And what I'm saying, what we've had to rephrase it as, we have to say no because of quality of your expectations. And that's not something we're willing to do.
I was warned not to do that, the 15 for the 15, because everyone kept saying, don't do it. Because what's going to happen is when you're there, they're going to start saying, well, can you water a plant while you're there? Can you do this while you're there? And it's going to start running over 15 minutes. And shockingly, that has not happened. So I made a good decision for once. Go me.
Round of applause, right? I love that when you're like, it actually worked. Yes.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Well, Lindsey, if someone's listening to this, and I know a lot of our listeners, they're maybe part-time or just getting into the industry. What's some advice that you would give to them to become that full-time professional pet sitter?
It's okay. I know everybody says this, but truly, it is okay to say no. It is okay to turn down jobs. You don't have to take every job. And if you do go to a meet and greet, a consultation, and you don't feel good about it, don't do it. You're going to burn yourself out. And take your time to find the right employees, because you have to be able to trust them 100 million percent. And like I said before, they're not working a cash register. They're going in people's homes and taking care of their pets. And I would say, wear sunscreen. I did not. I did not, and I am on my 4th skin surgery for cancer on my face. Yeah, I did not wear sunscreen, and we spend a lot of time outside. So, all in all, what I mean is take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Get a good pair of shoes. I would say join NAPS or join PSI and suck in all the information that you can. I'm a certified pet sitter through PSI, and I have to earn 30 CEUs in order to, what's it called? When you, when they reissue you.
Oh yeah. To recertify, right? Isn't that,
yeah. But definitely do that. And if you can find a good network of pet sitters, join it. I mean, there's no reason not to. Join it, have dinner, have a good group of friends around you that are there to talk or help or even be a backup for you. There's a lot of money to be made in the pet industry. I believe anyway.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But there are healthy ways and there are unhealthy ways to make that money, right? Like you can certainly make a lot of money working 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, never taking a day off, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep. Right, absolutely. But for how long are you going to be able to do that? Yeah, like that's, and I think that's what Megan and I learned pretty early on was the fact that it never takes a break. There's not like a season because it takes one client to need to travel for a weekend where you will never have a weekend off for months on end. It just takes one. And
right.
That was the part where we started to get, it was like, okay, it was exhilarating because we were like, oh, good. Job security. It's always there. And then it was a little bit of overwhelm because, oh, it's always there, right? It never stops. And so we have to impose that on that to take care of ourselves. Just like you said, Lindsey, right? Take care of yourself.
It's hard because you hardly have time to even take care of your own pets, and it's not 9 to 5. It's 9 to 9, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Maybe even overnights. It just never stops. And you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready to, there's people have emergencies and they have to run out in a hurry. Can you come over?
Yeah.
I'm on call. My phone never shuts off. I'm on call for my clients. Some of my clients are nurses. They're on call. If they're not home, I have to run over and take care of their pets, and I'm fine with it. That's what I'm here for. That's my job. I don't mind. But I mean, be ready to do things like that.
Right. And be ready to know when, like you said, to know when to say no and know when to say yes. I mean, something we've had to say a lot to ourselves of, like, your emergency is not my problem. In a lot of cases, like I get it. Like what we encounter a lot, Lindsey, is somebody will call us and they'll say, "Hey, I'm just trying to get established with a sitter. I don't have any travel planned." And we'll say, "Great, well, go here to do the meet and greet and go through our process, and we'll get you onboarded. We'll be ready for you." And then we hear nothing back from them until 4 months later. It's a Friday morning. Hey, we're leaving out of town. Can you start tonight? And I'm like, no, what? No. It's like, it used to be, time was, we'd jump at it. I'd try and get over there, do the meet and greet that morning, get everything onboarded, get everything taken care of. And then we'd do the visit that weekend, and then we'd hear nothing from them, right? We were killing ourselves for people who didn't care about us or our business. And they were just looking for a solution to their immediate problem. And we quickly realized, that's not worth it, right? It's not worth it me stressing out for 4 hours to go take care of this when nothing's going to happen at the end of it. And man, that was a hard learned lesson, and one that I still have to fight a lot. I'm still always inclined when I get that emergency phone call to be like, yes, we will come and save the day, and going, no, that's not for me to do. Like we don't have to do it every time.
I actually started charging for meet and greets. I never did that before, but the last years I do charge $15 to come out, just because, like you were saying, people, they want to meet you and they want to have you as a backup, and you never hear from them again. And I have to pay my employee to come for a consultation with me, and sometimes we're there for like 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And I'm not trying to be unfriendly, but people get off topic and they start talking about other stuff that has nothing to do with the pets. And before you know it, we're there for 2 hours, and then we never hear back from them again. And this happens so often. I thought, you know what? I'm $15 now. If you want us to come out, we'll stay as long as it takes, but I can't do it for free anymore. I just can't.
Yeah.
And there's people, they just want to talk to you. They have no intention of using you. They just want to talk, like they need someone to talk to. And I don't have time.
Like that's not the service. That's not the service that I personally offer. I mean, we'll dial, you can dial 0 for the operator and go talk to them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, Lindsey, I really want to thank you for coming on the show today and sharing with us your journey in pet care and how you've found balance and how you continue to refine what your business looks like to make sure that it works for you, and encouraging us to say no and take care of ourselves. I know there's a whole lot here, and again, with your business ever changing and all of your years doing this, there's a lot of knowledge and information that you have. If people are interested in getting connected, following along with what you're doing, how best can they do that?
They could follow us on Facebook. My Facebook is Ladies with Leashes. They could follow us on Instagram. I have a website, lindsay'sdogwalking.com. I have a TikTok too that I use just for fun. And we actually had a video that did pretty well the other day, 165,000 views. Like, that means anything, right?
That's a lot more views than I have, so that's pretty cool.
I got paid $1 for every view, but
right.
Yeah. If anybody ever wants to reach out just to talk, be friends, whatever, feel free. Email me, lindsayperriello@gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, I'll have links to all of those in the show notes and on our website so people can get connected and get in contact with you, Lindsey, and start doing that and picking your brain on stuff. I have really enjoyed our conversation, and I'm very thankful for our time today, Lindsey. It means a lot. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Pet sitting, dog walking is not a commodity. So why is our first thought typically about the price? I love Lindsey's quote when she said, "You're giving your keys to your home and your pets, their lives, to someone else. The price should not be the first thing that you think about." Yes, this goes for both the owner and also ourselves as the business owner. When we look to design our services, when we look to design how we operate and the promises that we're going to keep, we should stay focused on that. And then look at the price to make sure that it is commensurate with the level of work and professionalism and certifications and safety protocols. All of that should be tied into place. Then it is our job as the business owner to then market, message, and educate our communities for why our quality, our standard of care is better than others' options. We'd like to thank our friends, Time to Pet, and the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters for making this show possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.